Hello and welcome to today's MM+M Agency 100 video brought to you by Relevate Health. I'm Jameson Fleming, and today we're talking about the latest shifts in commercialization. Joining me here today is Tim Pantello, the CEO of Relevate Health, and Michael Cole, the Chief Strategic Development Officer of the agency. So welcome in today, guys.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks for having us.
I know, I'm excited to have this conversation because, I mean, we'll just start out with the year you had because you guys had a pretty gangbuster year. I think it was more than 30% in revenue. So, I mean, walk me through what drove the success this year.
Yeah, we were really obviously excited about the performance and more importantly, the value we could deliver for clients. And I think, what drove some of that outsized growth was really, I think, a structural shift in expectations from clients to really be focused on precision and activation, improving, what you can do to drive engagement and real business performance. And that's what we do, which is very different than, I would say, a more traditional or digital partner that clients may work with in commercialization.
Yeah, and I'm curious because I asked this question to basically every agency I talk to related to the A100, and it's simply, if I'm a client, why am I calling up Relevate Health? What are they coming to you guys for mainly?
Really, they're coming for outcomes and performance. And I think what's really different about us than just about anybody else in the marketplace is our ability to deliver with precision, and so much so that we guarantee it. And we do it across a number of dimensions with our solutions as well as our services. Clients have a variety of needs, and we're able to meet the client at the speed of those needs, unlike anybody else. So we can predict, behavior based on our, over 15 years of historical insights on engaging professionals. I think we've got, 11.5 billion points of data on US HCPs. And so we're able to predict and then prompt the right solutions, so much so that we can guarantee the engagement and the performance. And I think more so today than any other time in the history of our industry, clients want objective outcomes, and they really want to understand what's working and why it's working to meet their needs. And we're able to do that unlike really anyone else in the industry across a number of different domains that Michael and I will get into maybe a little bit later in the conversation.
Yeah, if I could just build on that. I think, obviously everybody that partners with pharma, you have to have a level of expertise and a scientific acumen that sort of becomes the table stakes. But we tend to approach a little bit differently. This is what Tim's brought. We bring first-party data forward. And that's data that the clients themselves don't have, but helps them understand their audience. And what do the doctors that they're targeting want to do, and how do those doctors want to learn? So when you're bringing that forward, you help them be smarter about the people they're targeting. We bring a tech stack forward. So our ability to deliver our products again and again consistently means it's not a burden on the marketer to have to coordinate 9 different departments or 9 different external partners. We have that. And then the last part that Tim brought, so we bring this product orientation, which is a little different in the market. Rather than being a time and materials business, we're selling an outcome. So it's really clear to the client of what they're buying from us. They're paying Y amount of dollars for Z amount of engagements or ideally a certain level of script lift. And that just makes it a little bit different than what they're seeing from most of the other partners that they might work with.
Yeah, and when it comes to measuring performance and being accountable to your clients, our healthcare marketer survey is showing that for the first time ever, digital is going to outperform linear TV in budgets, or not outperform, but outspend. And so when you think about measuring the work, being accountable to your clients and measuring performance, what is the mentality that you all hold internally to make sure that that's happening and your clients can trust you?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, it's our preference graph and our understanding of what physicians want and need. That's at the point of learning and the point of clinical decision. We firmly believe that there's 2 moments that really matter when a patient's in front of a doctor, clinician's making a really critical healthcare decision, and being able to prompt engagement in those moments, and then also being able to prompt in those moments of learning, more immersive learning and peer-to-peer learning. And that's where we have solutions that fit right in to those 2 moments and making those moments really meaningful. And being able to do that with precision, being able to share that data back to the client transparently about what we learned, and more importantly, being able to connect those two moments and orchestrate that. At the root of our name, right, Relevate is really elevated relevance. And all of our solutions and the services we wrap around that are really focused on precision, activation, and transparency, and to be able to deliver in those two moments. And we do that really unlike anyone else, and so much so that we guarantee it.
Yeah, and I know one of the terms that you guys throw around is certainty of impact. So let's geek out a little bit on these solutions, Michael, and go a little deeper of how does your solutions connect to that certainty of impact?
100%. So Tim sort of referenced, we organized our go-to-market in two big buckets: point of learning, point of clinical decision. So first, that's a shift for us. About a year ago, we organized essentially around sort of a client's marketing budget. We had a set of solutions that were NPP, set that were peer-to-peer. And that can make sense because it aligns what we offer to what a client sort of has line item or spend for. But it sort of misses the gap of what they're actually trying to achieve. So if I step back, and I would guarantee every single marketer out there, if they've got a strategic plan, in it is going to say somewhere, I need to teach this type of doctor this. That could be for a launch drug, that's a new clinical endpoint. For an existing inline drug, it's for enforcing guidelines. For a really precision drug, it's which patient is this ideal for. But they have a learning objective with that doctor. So organizing a set of solutions around that means what we sell clearly lines up to their solution. Equally, I guarantee it in every plan, there's going to be, once the doctor knows it, when they're in front of patients, they take this action. They order this biomarker test. They make sure the patient gets this right therapy. They make sure the patient gets enrolled in my hub services. So really aligning our solutions with what ultimately marketers want a doctor to do is the first part. Second part is when you kind of ask how we organize it, we try to just think about what does that doctor need. When a doctor's learning, you guys do enough research of what's driving it. It's not more field rep. It's not more promotional. Doctors want to learn from peers. So we have a whole set of solutions that are around peer content. Different, maybe it's videos, maybe it's infographics, maybe it's regional points of views, but they want to learn from the experts that they know and trust. Secondly, how do doctors want to learn? Some of them want to learn by doing. So we created a whole set of solutions that are immersive experiences. They take patient cases, they answer quizzes. We even have an entire division that builds medical video games for doctors. It means doctors are learning over time by doing and sort of getting those reps. And the last area is doctors like to learn from events, where they like to hear the thought leaders in their space. So we have national broadcasts that are done virtually, or we have one-to-one KOL conversations. So we really try to think about how does a doctor want to learn? What is the channel that they want to learn in? And how we can sort of bring that to a client's solution.
Yeah, and more importantly, having done this for 15 years and measuring every single engagement, we can predict what are the appropriate prompts of our solutions and then help orchestrate that based upon previous interactions. So that's what we call our omni know-how, our ability to predict and know what physicians want and then to deliver it across channels and orchestrate it. And we do that on our own interoperable tech stack as well and deliver all that for the client to make it really seamless and easy. We also transparently give all of that performance and campaign level back to whether it be our, the client directly or our media partners, could be the creative AOR, the med-ed AOR, and really kind of operate as a group that can help enable even more content being produced, and we can really deliver that last mile of activation and help orchestrate it on behalf of our clients.
Tim hit that last mile really critically, and that's sort of the last part that we do, I think, uniquely well, is interacting and helping in the point of clinical decision. Doctors spend half their day in that EHR system. Every time you're sitting in front of your doctor and he's looking at it, he's entering information, but he's also getting prompts back out. He's getting recommendations around guidelines or certain tests he should prioritize based on your diagnosis. He's getting information, or that doctor might be getting information around access and affordability programs and making sure that you're on the right product that sort of aligns with your formulary coverage, or even patient support information. So our ability to help brands deliver those prompts right in that system allows it to be really timely and clinical. And Tim always likes to say, equally as important is taking that clinical signal and using it to trigger other actions in the back in the point of learning.
Yeah, and Tim, you started to talk about the technology that's underpinning all of this. So tell me a little bit more about the tech stack behind all of this. What makes it unique? This is something I'll ask every agency I ever talk to. There's a lot of you out there. So what's that point of differentiation in the market? Is the technology? Is it something else that you feel like truly separates yourself from everybody that nobody else can claim right now?
Yeah, I think, certainly with AI, right? And we'll talk maybe a little bit more about that later as we push forward. But, I think the technology is less interesting than the depth of the data and how you've organized it. The technology's, I would say, less relevant than how you use it. And without unique data, I think there's not really unique technology that's going to help enable a better understanding. So we apply, from a technology standpoint, a way to augment intelligence with everything we know. We're then able to predict and understand at an individual and segment level what preferences are. We're then able to use our technology stack to orchestrate and deliver the engagement around the audiences that we have across channels. And then we're able to deliver really immersive experiences and connect that through the entire life cycle of engagement and really orchestrate journeys. And I think more importantly, transparently, provide that data back to our partners as well as to the client directly, so that we can all get better at delivering more relevance and really capitalize on the perishable moments of context. Data and technology only matter when you need it. And our job is to enable and empower clients to deliver better engagement and better education, ultimately prompting better healthcare decisions. And that's what we're all in service to, is those outcomes. I don't know if you want to...
Yeah, if I could just build, Tim referenced and sort of got into the data platform. We think that is one of the sort of things we bring uniquely to the table. It's called L, stands for Elevated Relevance. And what L has is 15 years of historical preference data. So that's 15 years of watching what content a doctor tends to look at based on channel preference, message preference, time of day, even just what and how that relates to their prescribing behaviors. So we've got close to 11.5 billion proprietary data points. I sort of referenced earlier, we bring first-party data to the table that works through every part of our business. What Tim was sort of saying, it's not sort of a nice little side intelligence component. It really is what drives our campaign performance. Up front, it helps our client development relationship folks work directly with clients and help them understand what's the preference of their target list, what types of interventions or campaigns are going to be more successful. When they're actually putting a campaign to market, it sort of helps organize what is the right content recommendations, channels, and cadence. And when something's actually in market, it's actually tracking all those signals. So one of the big values that we offer is not only can we operate in single individual channels and reference all the things we do in point of learning or point of clinical decision, it's our ability to coordinate and orchestrate across that. L's the engine that does that.
The other thing, just to build on what Michael's saying, is our also ability to learn in real time, and then our ability to change based upon what we know while it's in flight. So the ability to optimize, I think, is also critically important. I think a lot of people talk about it, but they typically flight things in somewhat of a linear fashion, kind of flight, watch, report, whereas we're actively learning. So not only are we smarter upfront, as Michael said, with our prediction, we can also learn throughout a campaign, target list swap, content swap, prompt swap, solution swap as well, in flight. Because the way we work is, and the way we operate is, we give a guarantee. So we have to deliver on those engagements. And so we're having conversations with clients less about the subjective, but the objective. And the objective is to deliver the engagement and the education and the prompts that actually have meaning, so much so that we guarantee it. And so we have to deliver it. So we're 100% aligned with the client objective, which is to deliver. with certainty. And I think that really resonates. And that's a real, as I opened up with you to your first question of why we're growing, it's because it's what the clients want, need, and expect. And it's a structural shift in expectations of commercial leaders to align with their goals and objectives. We don't want to sell the client more things. We want to enable and support their commercial objectives. And when you guarantee it, it's a very different conversation we're having. I'm not trying to, again, sell you more activity or time.
Sure.
I'm 100% aligned with your business needs and objectives and goals.
Tim sort of hinted at it. He talked earlier about used the phrase perishable moment. So when you're thinking about like an old school multi-channel campaign, it's when you set all your channels and run it go, and we wait till the end of the campaign and we say, okay, what worked? But where Tim's talking about that ability to pivot and optimize is because L's tracking every engagement, every click, every open, every critical decision that we see from the EHR signals, and it makes a recommendation. And what not only are we able to optimize and change and pivot what the next orchestration is, but we also take advantage of that perishable moment. We maybe prioritize a different message based on what they've done in a clinical setting, or if they spent a lot of time watching a KOL video, the next sequential logical option. We also send that back to the client. So every single week, our clients get a physician level data feed from us. They can use it to optimize their field force, other channels that we don't work with. So we like to think about that perishable moment rather than waiting, 3 months for claims data or until the end of the campaign to get it. They're getting that same information, that signal directly from us every week. So we become, in some ways, like almost an extension of their technology stack as well. I think it makes us more valuable. It allows us to be a lot more timely in terms of how we give a better experience to a physician, ultimately help them sort of make a better decision.
Yeah, and I've kind of been amazed this whole conversation. I think you guys have only mentioned AI once, but there's been lots of undertones of AI throughout this conversation. So let's briefly talk it a little bit more explicitly. What is the conversation around AI internally, and what do clients need to know about how you're using AI a little more clearly?
I mean, Michael will get into it, but I'll start. This past year, just from an innovation perspective, we launched 9 new solutions. We've got 7 more we're flighting right now. And we're obviously terribly excited about that. I would say we've also invested heavily in AI game mechanics. We're launching really the first new channel to engage physicians in the last 10 years, a playable ad network. We all know physicians play games, so to be able to reach them in these unique blue gene moments. And we have built out AI game mechanics to quickly deploy those and reach over 1 million US HCPs. I would also say that our ability to use AI, not just for efficiencies, but for effectiveness, as we further weaponize and commercialize the data that we've been speaking about, everything's underpinned with AI. We also have a core application and an app marketplace where 94% of our staff use it daily. And that's a self-reinforcing approach to AI, where all of our historical campaign performance, all of our preference graph is at the fingertips of every employee. And I think that for us, AI is at the center of the company. So it's not, as Michael mentioned, like something that's over there or done in a sandbox or off to the side. It's at the core of the entire company of how people actually perform tasks and do their job. But maybe you can expand a little bit more.
Yeah, that look, to Tim's point, it's not innovation for innovation's sake. It's innovation to drive the business. 3 clear areas that we're really focused with AI: agentic intelligence, agentic development, agentic orchestration. So intelligence, we talked a lot about our ability to have sort of historical data, but I don't want a rate limiter for people to be able to pull that out. Is only data folks can do it. So Tim sort of referenced, we built, if L is our data platform, there is a younger, sexier, kind of cooler cousin called Electra. It is our AI platform. It's built out, it's deployed across the whole company, what it allows people to do, non-data people that don't type SQL, to be able to extract information. So now they can extract information about audiences, about campaign performance, about our accounts. Really democratizing sort of the level of data we have, and we want to continue to push in there. In agentic development, we want to use essentially AI to be a co-pilot to our technology teams. Yeah. So everything that gets pushed out right now, there's 7 AI checks. So looking at security, looking at documentation, but we even gone a step further. So Electra now writes code in 11 different languages. So it doesn't take an engineer to create a new application. I'll give you a real kind of clear use case. We do a lot of work with media companies. Anybody that works in the media space knows third-party tags can be kind of what makes you want to pull your hair out, right? Every client has a different set of tags they want. Every platform has a different set of rules. You can manage that through a checklist. Or one of our campaign managers working in Electra, not a technical resource, a proficient person, prompted into existence a tag QA tool. Became an application that she was able to use, deploy in her workflow, optimize that, and then we can sort of standardize that, to Tim's point, across our app marketplace. So everyone with that same job title now has access to that. So really sort of building things faster. We're kind of where we want to go is when you sort of put those two streams together. All the data that we have in intelligence, all the ability to build things faster that gets you into that orchestration space. So we're pretty bullish in terms of what AI is doing for the company in terms of making us smarter and making us help better decisions for clients, but also helping accelerate and sort of compress timelines.
Yeah, it's really a structural tailwind. I think, if you zoom out and look at, I would say, a more traditional marketing service firm that is centered on time and materials, when you compress time, that really puts into question the business model. And I think, we're the opposite of that. And so for us, it's a real accelerant and a tailwind. I think others can weaponize it really intelligently and creatively, which I'm sure they are, to create and make even better, smarter content. And potentially even more creative content or more varied content.
If I could build, I think one of the other things what we've seen consistently what AI does well is when it has a big structured data set to learn from and when it has something to optimize against. If you sort of think about sort of the core elements of what we bring to the table, I sort of hit it up front. We bring first-party data. We bring consistent operationalized solutions. AI is really sort of perfectly adept at thinking about what we do and how we can drive a better optimized outcome.
Yeah, and because we've organized the data with all the history we have, we can turn it on unlike anyone else. And so again, it's really we're structurally advantaged, maybe unlike just about anybody in the industry, and we're able to commercialize it really on behalf of our clients to deliver better outcomes. And that's our core mission is prompting better healthcare decisions. And if you don't have your own first party data and you don't have it structured properly, focused on the client objectives and the patient needs, you're not going to be able to unlock the kind of value we can deliver in those two moments that matter, the point of learning, the point of clinical decision, and be able to orchestrate around that. And that's what we do really unlike anyone else.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the very beginning of the conversation, which is you're coming off a great year. You've got expectations for the year ahead. So where is your head at in terms of where the business is going? Or should we expect another monster year coming out of Relevate Health?
Yeah, I mean I think coming off of just under 30% growth last year, we're outpacing that at this moment in time. Hopefully. I don't set any expectations we can't deliver on. But no, certainly, we're really excited about what we're able to do for clients and the innovation agenda that can fund and fuel. Obviously, when you're doing well, you need to put that investment to work. And this is the greatest time to be in our industry. We're in a really unique place and space with an incredible team and have incredible clients. We've added another 9 or 10 new manufacturers just in the first quarter. And again, we work on over 185 brands. That should probably be north of 200 already in 2026. So we're really excited about our ability to continue to expand and then also work with clients and our partners to create more content, to deploy more content, to do that more intelligently with more precision and hopefully enable them to do even more, the clients and our partners. And so we're really excited about the future and the ecosystem and what that means for growth for us, but most importantly, growth for our clients as well as for our partners.
I think on our standpoint, Tim references, if you're working at the 185, close to pushing 200 brands, our biggest opportunity is when we connect our solutions. And that's where our primary pathway to growth is going to be doing more with the clients we have. So instead of them doing maybe 2 distinct points of learning, doing 2 and 3 and 4. And so the ability to continue to do that allows us to play into what we do well, which is orchestrate across a lot of channels, optimize basically on their endpoints and their outcomes, and deliver it at scale, because essentially the more campaigns we do, the better our data set becomes, the better our ability to predict outcomes, the sort of higher value we can kind of continue to translate. That sort of self-reinforcing loop is where we are. And I think that's the big steps we've been making over the last couple of years, rather than doing sort of individualized point solutions, sort of expanding into that sort of orchestration and omnichannel.
Great. And we've covered a lot of ground here today. Is there anything I haven't asked about that you're dying to talk about in our last couple moments here?
I think we're at a critical point in the industry where clients have new and different expectations and demands, as they should. And as they embrace their own agentic path and embrace technology, it's probably the most exciting and revolutionary time in the industry. I probably felt the same way as the internet was really embraced, then mobile. There's been different waves of innovation, maybe even going back to the early 90s with desktop publishing. So we're at this very, I would say, interesting inflection point. And I think it's probably the most transformational time in our space. And so I'm really excited for really everyone in our industry to be enabled to do more. Clients are going to be enabled to do more, all in the service of delivering better outcomes for patients. And that's what's ultimately what we're all in service to as an industry. And we're going to be able to do more than ever before. How we use that and how different folks in the ecosystem better serve clients will be interesting.
Now you're spot on. Like, clients have been talking about performance marketing, modular content, omnichannel. These are, you guys have been writing about this for a decade.
No, absolutely.
The constraint has often been, how do they put that into the structures and how they operate? I think what we're seeing with sort of availability to manage and mine data at scale, ability to create content quickly and to different targets and to deploy and sort of coordinate all of that, AI is an accelerant of that. And I think what you're going to see in the next couple of years, or certainly in the next 18 months, is more clients sort of getting out of Pilotville and getting into that being their way of operating. They're going to want more consistency of how do I sort of orchestrate multiple connected channels. And I think we're pretty excited about where that's going to go. I think Tim uses the phrase often, we'd rather be us than them. I think structurally we're sort of built to help clients jump on that train and sort of really take advantage of what that activation, that final mile, and what the results it can pull out. So that's we're pretty excited.
Well, that is a perfect note to end on here today. For Tim Pantello and Michael Cole, I'm Jameson Fleming. This was another one of MM+M's Agency 100 videos brought to you by Relevate Health. Thank you for joining us here today.